I want to show you guys my little presentation here that I have prepared for you guys. Okay, I feel like a professional every time I come on here. Okay, so right here, if you guys know this creator, his name is Mark. You know, he's like one of the older creators here on the platform, and he make videos also about money. Now, he has 5 main side hustles he basically talks about, or basically ways to start making money if he had to start back from zero. So if he was broke today, what would he do to basically make the most money? And right here are the best 5 ways, okay? And I'm gonna break those down one by one. Now, by the way, guys, whenever you're seeing this whole screen here, feel free to basically screenshot, save it on your phone. That way you have this whole thing right here to look back into the future. To look back later on if you want to revisit this entire idea right here and don't have to go through an entire live just to get all the ideas again. Now, Mark's plan. If I had to start all over again, one is you grind like heck, meaning you get a job and you get also a side hustle potentially. Because the goal is whenever you're broke, you want to get seed capital. At least that's what my definition basically is, okay? The seed capital is what allows you to go from earned income into passive income. Number 2 is grab some of that income and invest it into passive incomes, for example, like ETFs or index funds or mutual funds, or what I call them, just to jump them all together, just securities, right? They're all just stock market securities. That's really all it is. Now, it's a very passive way to make money, which is great. But remember, the priority should be to use your money initially. What I would do is basically use my money initially to invest in myself and get the best possible job or career to make me a better amount of money. Because when you're hustling and grinding like heck, a lot of the times that basically means you're doing 12-hour days, 14-hour days. And if you're going to be, for example, trying to invest passively into ETFs, it's going to take way too long to see, for example, any real substantial improvements in your wealth, okay? Number 3 is scale your business so income goes right? Or goes up. If you do build a business, scaling it is going to be very important, obviously. The idea is when I go into a business is how do I make sure this business does not need me actively? So kind of like delegation to make sure your business is scalable, but most importantly, can actually be created into a passive income providing business. And by the way, guys, if you guys hear rain or, for example, like sounds and so on, it's because I'm in the studio here and it's basically raining here. Number 4, guys, invest into assets, passive income. And by the way, this so far is basically pretty good and pretty great because it does make sense. So invest into assets like real estate, or anything, you know, assets can have different definitions. It can be something that can depreciate, but does earn you money, kind of like the rich dad, poor dad concept. And then last thing, you laugh in millions. So that's pretty cool. But overall, what would I rate this plan? It's a pretty good plan, you know? So you get a job, you invest some of that money, and you create a business and scale it up, and you use that money to basically invest into assets, build passive income, and also just enjoy your money. And by the way, the good thing is, or the bad thing is, you know, with all these plans, whether it's my plan, Mark's plan, any of the other plans we'll talk about here, they all require upfront work, right? And they all require patience. So it's very important. That's why I say I'd rather use my money, my initial money that I basically get, to go ahead and invest into a skill to earn me more money. So if I hustle 12 hours, 14 hours a day, great, but not really the type of life I actually want for the rest of my life. But the idea is if I use that same money to grab that money and put it, for example, into a degree or trade school or a license, that might be better. Because once I'm done with that, I'm able to get that job or that career or that business in a sense and earn a higher salary without having to, for example, put in all that work over and over and over again every single day. It's kind of crazy to me. Now, number 2, we actually have over here the man, the myth, the legend, Stephan, okay? The godfather of the finance world. So shout out to Stephan. He started a lot of like the whole YouTube finance scene. So shout out to Stephan. And also his course helped me a lot when it came to learning about YouTube and how to do everything. I always give props where the props are due. So shout out to Stephan. Now, his video on side hustles was basically more about like types of incomes, That's what I took about, but that's what I took away from basically the description and so on. But you have basically 7 types of incomes. You have, for example, earned income. That's from a job, whether it's college, accounting, finance, whatever it is, that's job, right? Earned income, you actually work for it. You have dividend income. Those are basically distributions from businesses and corporations that basically issue out money because you basically invested into it. So I put money into McDonald's every single quarter. They give me, for example, some dividends. On top of that, you have capital gains. It's come basically from the sale of an asset. So I have stocks, I have real estate. If I sell for a profit, I have a capital gain. Okay. If I sell for a loss, I have a capital loss. Also, you have interest income. This can be, for example, if you do lend money, you can make interest income. You also have rental income. And that comes from basically tenants buying real estate and basically renting it out. You also have profit from a business. If you do build a business, that profit is also a type of income. And then lastly, you have royalty income, whether it's a book that you wrote decades ago or a course, not really a course, but you could say it. But royalty income is also passive income. Overall, one thing I will say, whether it's me or Graham Stephan or anyone out there telling you about different types of income, don't be overwhelmed by it. Initially, when you start something, anything, it is going to take a while to actually build income in that field. Very important, very natural. And a strategy I see a lot is basically, instead of locking in and focusing on one thing, people go ahead and kind of like spread their income into every single aspect. So they go and say, hey, my earned income, I'll put some into stocks here, some into trying to save for real estate, some into basically trying to get profits for business, or some into royalties, whatever. When you do that, it's kind of like, you know that saying where they say like, hey, you're spreading yourself too thin. Well, you're doing that for your money. You don't want to do that for your money. You want to kind of lock in and focus. So whether it's, for example, hey, I got this earned income, I'll take it and build wealth in the stock market while I buy a home. That's more attainable. But saying like, I'm going to do all 7 at the same time, very possible, but it's going to take a very, very long time. And at the end, you probably won't really have that much money because you kind of just like were very deteriorated by going across a bunch of different avenues, if that makes sense. Okay. So kind of like lock into one thing. The most important thing though is going to be usually the earned income, because for the first few years, that's going to be your main source and also the funding source to all of your other ventures. So it's important that you have a high earned income. So anything above $40,000 is going to be pretty solid, pretty good. Now, the third creator we have right here, let me just go right here. We have the myth, the man, the legend, Mr. Tommy Bryson. This picture is so old. Before that time, I didn't even have dreads. And by the way, I'm really thinking about getting rid of this hair, you know, so potentially that might happen. Don't be surprised if in a live you'd be like, oh, Tommy got a haircut. Might happen. Now, the first 5 main side hustles, and by the way, I've done a lot of videos on this and I talked about a lot of ones out there. But overall, the first one of the most popular ones is basically YouTube and Spotify playlists, content without showing your face. Number 2 is flipping cell phones. Number 3 is drop servicing. Number 4 is cash businesses, for example, like barbershops and nail salons. Number 5 is freelancing with skills, Upwork, and Fiverr. And don't worry, of course, I'm going to go into detail here. Now, when I say YouTube, I made a video about a year ago, I think now, where I spoke about basically, hey, here are several ways to earn money on YouTube without showing your face. And the overall concept is fairly simple. You make content revolving around a certain niche. So if anybody watching this live right here ever heard about, for example, Chill Cow or Lo-Fi Cow, it's like this channel and they upload like a bunch of music and nobody shows their faces. And it's all about just getting, for example, copyright-free music, re-uploading it, and then basically making money step by step, okay? It's a very good way to make money. Also, if you ever seen a channel where you have people talking about, for example, like top 5 technologies, top 5 foods, and it's always like a presentation type thing, and it's like a voiceover, those are ways to basically go ahead and make money without having to show your face. Or, for example, just plainly going on YouTube and go into, you know, content that people, well, it's called Creative Commons. That's what it's called, Creative Commons, so you can filter that in. But if you click those videos, you're able to re-upload them onto your channel and gain views, then monetize, and basically just make money without ever actually posting your own content. Now, people have done this with my channel, believe it or not. So they make channels, they kind of take my videos and they kind of re-upload them and hope to God that they basically get a lot of views. It's a very lazy way to go about it. The whole goal is to grab those videos that creators allow you to actually use and make them better, improve them, add your voiceover, add your takes, make it original to yourself, and then go ahead and try to build a platform. But just being lazy, just reposting, re-uploading is not going to be the way. 2 for me is going to be flipping cell phones. This is something I did a lot of while I was in college, okay? One of my favorite things ever, you know, because it got me the chance to actually just go ahead and buy the new phones that I wanted to buy all the time. Well, this phone used to be cool, but now we have the 12, so things have changed. But the idea was very simple. I went on Facebook, I went on Craigslist, I went on eBay, I went on any and every site out there, and what I did was I bought phones for a discount. So the main question I get all the time is, tell me, how do you find out the price, the market price of a phone? Pretty simple. You check the market. So if I want to check the iPhone 6 prices and what they're going for, look on eBay. What are they selling for? Look on Facebook. What are they selling for? How do you make a profit? You buy below that. So you got to get good at negotiating. I see this a lot. You know, people think that every side hustle is like a microwave. It's like fast food. It happens just like that. I want to buy for a discount. Sell me for a discount. No. It takes negotiation skills. It takes sales skills, right? So you develop those as you keep going. You're not going to get a sale right away. It takes time to actually develop this skill. So phone flipping is one that helped me out a lot. Number 3 for me is drop servicing. This one's actually pretty cool, and I love this one so much. And the basic idea is, if you can connect someone that offers a service to the person that needs a service, then you can be the middleman and basically get paid the difference, right? So if I hire someone, for example, from the Philippines to do video editing for me for like around 10 bucks an hour, and I find someone, for example, in the US, you know, New Jersey, New York, whatever it is, and they're willing to pay me, for example, $25 an hour, I'm able to say, well, yeah, I'll do the work for you. I connect both of them. I'm the middle person. And since this person's paying me $25 and I pay them $10, meaning, for example, I get a profit of $15 and I really never ever did anything. It's kind of like a job agency, but fully online using drop servicing. It's a pretty cool one, okay? So you can do this with Upwork. I see that it works a lot more when you have employees that are coming from overseas, because basically the labor is so much cheaper. So keep that in mind. But there's also quality issues if there is miscommunication. So do keep that in mind. By the way, guys, drop a 1 in the chat if you're able to hear me. Number 4 is, for me, cash businesses. I've always loved these businesses a lot, you know, so it means some of my first money came from a barbershop partnership, really. So barbershops are a great way to make money. And you don't really have to be a barber, but you have to understand the business of owning a barbershop. Also, nail salons, hair salons, delis, right? A lot of these cash businesses tend to make a good amount of money. You know, and a lot of them basically, they don't really require you, because basically you can go ahead and hire some people and they do all the work for you while you're just basically at home chilling and collecting checks. So if you have a barbershop, you can have multiple chairs there. You can rent it out and you get paid money every single week. The barbers work and you just basically take care of the maintenance, the rent, and the bills and all that fancy stuff, but you get paid money automatically. That's the cool thing about barbershops that I love so much. One big thing is, though, that when you are buying a barbershop versus building a barbershop is pretty different, right? So if you do lease, for example, a location, let's say a new location, never been a barbershop before, the answer is it's kind of more difficult because that location has no history. But if you do buy a location from an old barbershop guy or whatever, well, you already have an established location there, so that's pretty cool, right? So that doesn't require really that much work. By the way, guys, towards the end of this video or this stream, I'm gonna be taking live calls and, for example, going on Zoom with you guys. So cash businesses are great. I love them a lot, but they do require maintenance and work. Nothing here is like 100% passive. Like, you do require some level of work. Number 5 is freelancing with skills. You know, when I say freelancing, I mean, like, is it passive? No, it's a side hustle, obviously. That means you have to have, for example, the skill that is in demand that someone wants, and then they hire you, for example, online. The cool thing is that basically, if you do build this up, You're able to work from anywhere and everywhere. So whether you are in Hawaii, whether you are on vacation, whatever it is, you're able to go ahead and basically work, you know. So that includes, for example, copywriting, video editing, designing, website building, thumbnail creation, social media. There are so many skills out that you can basically get and sell online, like an Upwork and Fiverr, and just make, for example, a decent amount of money. But again, people have a skill, they post a skill, they get no sales, they're like, doesn't work. It requires time. One of the best ways to make money when it comes to skills is through referrals. So you get that first person and use that person that requires your skills, know somebody else also that might require skills. So why not go ahead and basically try to get a referral to actually continue business, actually keep it going and going and going. But overall, those right there are my main 5. So let's go over to creator number 4, right? Creator number 4 here. We have Black Hustlers Club. I'm not sure what my man's name's here is. You know, I don't really know his name, so I apologize for that. But I know his channel is Black Hustlers Club. And his video was all about, for example, flipping shoes, flipping used items, Fiverr, charge for Instagram shoutouts, and also charge companies to help grow their social media accounts. And if you guys notice, right, all of us have different ideas because basically all of us have, for example, different skills and things that we're basically very, very good at. So overall, I did flipping sneakers. The only thing is that today you kind of need like bots to do this, right? So you need bots to get your hand on sneakers or connections. And because nobody really is gonna go like online anymore, usually to kind of like sit there and wait overnight and buy sneakers. But yeah, I did flipping sneakers, and it is a great side hustle. You can earn you a good, decent amount of money. Flipping used items always works, okay? It's one of my favorite ways, whether it's at Goodwill, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Craigslist, whether it's your own items. Flipping those items can make you a good amount of profit, and I highly, highly recommend it. Where do you flip, Tommy? Well, my first strategy is usually, if I have a used item, I'm gonna try to sell it like person to person first. So that means Facebook, OfferUp, or any other website like Craigslist also, right? Because that means if I sell directly to you, I get to skip a lot of the fees, right? So all those fees, like oh, eBay gets 10% or Amazon gets 10% or whatever it is, right? So you get to skip all those fees. However, if it's been like a week or 3 days or 4 days, you can go ahead and list them on eBay, because eBay has millions of customers, and that is what you're paying for, right? Because you have a big customer base that is looking for your items. So don't be afraid to list your items on eBay. Also, 3 for him is Fiverr. Fiverr is great. If you have a skill, whether it's voiceovers, you have a great voice, whether it's YouTube, social media, whatever you have, Fiverr is amazing. Fiverr, by the way, is a platform where you basically go, you sign up, like kind of like social media, but it's kind of like for work. So you kind of put in all your details, what you're able to do, and people basically go ahead and hire you. Pretty cool if you ask me. Number 4, charge for Instagram shoutouts. You know, so if you do have a social media platform, by the way, guys, I am seeing the chat. So if you guys want to keep chatting, chat there, because at the end of this live, I will be answering questions and also making an announcement. But if you want to do, for example, social media, it is great. Does it work? The answer is yes, it does work. But again, just like anything on this whole video, it is not going to come off just like this. Oh, great. So where's my money? I've been trying to grow my social media. It's not growing. It takes time. It takes skills. Social media is a program, right? So a program has code, has algorithms. If you understand the algorithm, you'll know exactly how to grow. How do you learn this algorithm? You go on YouTube, you learn about it. I don't like lazy people. I don't honestly. So the idea is, if you want to do something, you're not stupid. It's just that you basically don't know something. So your job is to just go out there and learn about what it is you basically don't know. But wanting a result without knowing how to do it or not wanting to put in the work in is lazy to me. And so I don't care if you want a result and you're working towards it. That's not lazy, because basically you're being actively engaging towards whatever you want to accomplish. So to me, that's awesome. But just wishing and praying, not my thing. Number 5 for him is charge companies to help grow their social media accounts. Now, obviously, you do need like social awareness for this. Meaning, for example, you need to have, for example, like a social media presence, because if I want to hire you, I have to know that basically you have a social media account and you're actually also popping, right? So I'm not gonna hire someone with like 3 followers. You need to have, for example, your own social media actually growing, engaging, and everything like that. And by the way, people always confuse, for example, like businesses and what they actually want. Businesses don't care about numbers, they care about customers. So the whole goal for them is, how do I use social media to get customers? It's not about the likes per se, it's not about, for example, the followers per se. It's about, for example, getting engaging prospects and turn them into customers. That's your job. That requires sales, marketing, and also, for example, just networking overall, right? So again, whatever you want to accomplish, you're going to have an edge over people if you're able to learn about the things that they basically don't know. So that means books, courses, YouTube for free content, everything possible to go out there and get the best content out there. Now, the last creator here is gonna be my man's here, okay? This guy's pretty cool, man. Like this guy a lot. His name is JT Automation, okay? Now, JT Automation talks about a lot about different side hustles. For example, car wash, portable, garbage disposal, cleaning business, towing company, trucking business, logistics basically, loading company, and also tour transportation. And of course, I'm going to go over each and every single one of these. And again, guys, always feel free to screenshot what I'm saying, so that way you have these kind of like presentations kind of like locked in. So if you want to try them out later on, you can if you want to. Car wash portable, how do you do it? If you have, for example, like a little van or just like a little car with space, that's fine. It requires, for example, some buckets, a water pressure cleaner. It's like an investment of around like $150, $200 if you have a car already. It's all about going door to door and offering, for example, your service. People don't like going door to door, but it takes time. That's how you kind of build it, right? A lot of millionaires, you always hear about it. Hey, I started just by going door to door at first. So how do you find customers for car wash? You go door to door. Hey, your car, can I clean it up for you? Only like $10, $20 because it's your first wash. If I do become, for example, your regular washer, that'll be awesome. I'll always offer you a discount. You know, pretty cool. Marketing, sales is not just about doing the activity. And eventually, if you create, for example, your own portable car wash company, you can just hire people to wash the cars for you. And then it's just like a passive income streams as you build, for example, your large client list, right? And then potentially, if you want to, you can sell that client list to somebody else that wants a business and just basically make a lot of money and get out if you want to. 2 for JT Automation here, garbage disposal. So if you guys don't know this, if you have a home and you're trying to get rid of certain things, you have to pay for a garbage removal people to actually come in and actually throw things away, because you just can't throw it away normally, like especially like a lot of debris. So, and if you do that, it's illegal. So if you can have, for example, like a van and go to people and be like, hey, I can throw away your garbage and all this stuff, that's also a legitimate way to actually make money. 3, cleaning business. So if you have like a little van or a little car, I saw one of these, for example, back in New York, and a guy had like 3 cars and they were all like all the way promoted out with his clean service company, and he had like a few employees that basically just went to houses, businesses, offices, and just basically said, hey, we'll clean the office for X amount of money, enter them into contracts, and basically made a good amount of money. And remember, you can hire people to do the cleaning for you. Initially, it'll probably be you, and that's fine, but that's how you usually get started. Towing company. You can work, for example, with companies. And by the way, I'll maybe make a whole video on this right here, you know, because JT Automation has a lot of great ideas, okay? And guys, use what I'm saying here to check out these people's channel, because basically, they also have a lot of great videos. But overall, towing companies, that's also a legitimate way to actually start making money. And you don't have to buy a towing truck. You can basically just rent it out initially, and that's also fine. But eventually, if you want to, you can buy your own truck, like your own towing company also. Trucking business. This right now is big because everything is logistics. When everything is being sold online, well, things have to be shipped, right? So that means you need truckers to basically deliver things from A to B. And not just, for example, like Amazon items, but it's also, for example, delivering cars, also like heavy machinery. All those things usually need trucks to actually get started. Now, initially, to buy a truck, it's kind of expensive, I know, but you could work for somebody's trucking company, gain experience, gain income, and then use that income to basically just buy your own truck or save up for it and then start your own business. And by the way, truckers make a lot of money. It's just a lot of hard work. So if you're into hard work, this right here would be solid. But the goal is use all that awesome income to go out there and save money to buy your own truck and turn this into a passive way to make money, because nobody wants to be driving away from family for the rest of their lives, okay? On top of that, number 6 for JT Automation here is loading company. Meaning, for example, if you have parties, you have weddings, you have events, right? What do you need? You need someone to load all those items into their van or whatever, and then send them to wherever you actually want to be located at, right? So that's awesome. Or even like a moving company, right? There's this company here in Puerto Rico that does this very well. It's like a one guy thing. He has like his own truck. He charges people like around $150 to $200 for moving their stuff, right? So imagine, right, if you have just like 5 people per week, well, 5 times $200, that's an easy like $1,000, right? So consider that. Obviously, am I saying you're gonna get that many clients right off the bat? Probably not. And by the way, his promo was on Facebook. So he put his advertisement on Facebook saying like, hey, moving company for hire. And he had like great pictures, great testimonials too. So that helps you a lot. Also, number 7, the last one for JT here, is tour transportation. So if people want to go somewhere, like say for example, like a beach, or get to know like Manhattan or whatever city it is, and it's like a very vivid and alive tourist environment where you live, you can basically just use your van potentially, if it's like a 10-seater, 12-seater, and just like have people come in and charge them for a tour. 12 people, right? Multiply by 30, that's around look at that, that's around like 360 every time you actually do it, right? And you know, in Puerto Rico, you have people that basically do tours like for tourists here, just even to like El Yunque, like places like that. But in reality, anyone can do that, right? Because all you have is like the bus. You can basically just rent that out potentially. You have the listings, for example, like on TripAdvisor or Kayak or any of those websites out there. And then once you know basically like the tour route and how to do everything, and you have liability protection, obviously, because you do need liability protection in case anything happens. The answer is that's pretty much it, you know? And guys, that is basically it